I don't know where the fuck that actually ends and where it doesn't. I actually had to
I was
manually
jamming. I was
stop
just like,
that one.
yeah, that's a groove. I like it.
No, I love that beat. It's fucking clean. But yeah, how the hell you been, brother? It's been a fucking long time. You're getting sucked in
Two
by a
weeks.
whole bunch of Call of Duty Pokemon, and it's been a fun time. How the hell are you guys doing? This is Real Men Talk Shit. As always, we're sponsored by Gfuel. Only Gfuel this week. Next week, though, next week, you guys get all of the good shit. So we're excited. Contract gets
Yeah.
signed today. So
Oh, sick.
that'll be fun. Yeah, yeah. I'm just waiting on them to update it and resend it to me. So, good shit. I was
Well,
waiting
I'd
on that.
imagine that people watching this are fans of our content, or at least fans of us. So they should
Mhm.
know how I'm feeling, which is dead tired from playing Palworld. This is like one of the hardest content grinds I've ever done. I love it, having fun, or else I wouldn't do it. But yeah, I also decide I'm not like I try to make myself pretty for these kinds of pretty. I'm gone.
Pretty.
We're just having fun. This is it's already over. It's cooked. It's done. But I try to like make myself look good, trim up and all that when I go on this, and then I for this one I was like, no, we need to show exactly where I'm at right now.
Exactly. The blackened eyes. You didn't put on makeup, didn't put on
I
anything
never put
furry other
them.
than the collar.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly. No
Oh, it
butt
was
plug,
funny. One time
no
I was in
ears.
Discord, and I was I'm going to probably talk over and be just garbage today because my brain is
No,
fried.
you're
But
good.
one time I was in Discord, and my friends were like, "Wow, you got the bad bags under your eyes today," or like, "You look really sleepy deprived." I'm like, "Oh yeah," and I tried to wash myself out, and he was just like, "Wow, the only thing that isn't exposed on you is the darkness under your eyes and the bags." So
Yep.
my troll failed.
Nope, nope. You just completely disappeared. Your hair showed a little bit. Your beard showed a
Yeah.
little bit.
So that's how you can tell how bad the stage of sleep deprivation is. So I guess I looked worse then.
No, I completely understand. I've been absolutely exhausted. I've had one of the most insane, intense weeks I've had in a
Oh
very,
wow.
very, very long fucking time. So
Huh.
I'm working my ass off too. Between work, life, everything kind of feels like it's chaos right now, and I'm kind of succeeding, and
Oh, at least
I
it's
guess
good
succeeding in
chaos.
in chaos. It seems like I'm going to be getting full custody of my kids. I can't fully talk about it, obviously, because court and everything else. But that
Mhm.
it's been insane. It's been insane.
Sick.
Everything seems to be going positively though, so I guess can't complain. But still, definitely weird. It's been a weird situation. It's been a weird week. A lot of nights where you get 3 to 4, sometimes 5 hours of sleep a night, and you just hope that it works. But yeah, it's been fun.
Mhm.
It's been fun. So what is this shit, man? This Palworld shit. I've seen
It's
some
not
mods for it.
Pokemon with guns. Do not put it's Pokemon with guns in the title because that the discourse is making me mad. All the drama is making me mad. You said you don't know anything about what's going on.
Like I've seen the game a little bit. I watched your stream. I was hanging out there for a little bit,
Yeah, I remember that.
and I thoroughly love the way the game looks. I was
Mhm.
hoping that it wasn't gonna go super super memey or super fucking. I'm just gonna look like it's fucking hentai. I figured that's probably where it was going to go, and it didn't. It kind of went like less G rated Pokemon, which is why I assumed that's where they were going to begin with.
Yeah, it's
And
kind
it
of like
kind of
PG-13 Fortnite.
yeah, yeah, I kind of like it. I definitely like the way it looks, but I don't really understand why everybody's bitching and complaining other than not AI, the content intellectual property shit, which is kind of like gray area because it's
Mhm.
different.
Okay. That kind of works both ways because like if you've been following along and had like the free time to like invest or actually play the game and talk about it, that's its own discussion. But then I can also do like the informative, ranty discussion to fill everyone in, viewers,
Yeah,
you, and
yeah,
all that great stuff. So to begin, like it actually started off as a meme. It started off as Pokemon with guns. That first trailer, they went
yeah. It
heavy.
was
They were like,
Pokemon with guns. Yep.
yeah, they're like, here's your green chipmunk that's crying, making AK-47s on the line. Here's the blam blam and all that other crazy stuff. So they really sold it as like, oh, this is going to be some kind of like crazy Chinese silly Pokemon knockoff game. But developers are actually Japanese. So like more and more respect started growing as they put out more and more content. And then every trailer was like, wait, this is a real game. This isn't just going to be like some kind of they took the what's the not Breath of the Wild game? Genshin. It's not like they've
Yeah.
took the Genshin map, threw in Pokemon with guns on it, ripped some
Hope it works.
models, and then went all crazy. It's like, no,
Yeah.
every trailer came out, it's like, this is a good game.
No, and the very interesting thing about it is you don't see these assets anywhere else. These are completely unique models from what I've seen at least. And
Yeah.
I've heard that argument a lot, at least on Twitter, where it's, oh, well, everything's ripped from this or everything's created by this. And it's like, no, it seems like it's a rather unique art style that's kind of just its own thing. And everything's uniform. So that's
Yeah.
not AI like everybody's
Well,
claiming
it's
it.
the woke cancel culture, over dramatization, just
Mhm.
like trying to make it look as bad as possible kind of thing. I feel like there has, well, not even has to be, but like if you say it's 100% not recycled assets, there might be like some part of
Yeah,
a
there might be a
Pokemon in there
texture or
somewhere
a
because
pixel or something.
everyone because that's what even the randomizers do and all the let's players
Yeah.
and the ROM hacks
Mhm.
and stuff. The models have been dumped and remodeled a million times and re-rigged. So like that's definitely I'm not not definitely because I don't want to speak like bad of Palworld or Pocket Pair depending on how they're doing it, but it's a possibility for sure. And in
Absolutely.
the first trailer, the people were memeing on because like no, that's directly Reshiram's model mixed with Zoroark mixed with whatever. But then those aren't in the game anymore. So all like the really
Those were
knockoffy steel,
placeholders.
yeah, all the really knockoffy steely ones, they're not in the finished product. So that also leads speculation. Did Nintendo review it? Like no one knows for sure, but did Nintendo Game Freak review it and say all these are good except for these two? Come on, come on, guys. Or did the developers realize, wait, we're legitimate now. We have to try, like we have to actually just make everything unique. So maybe it did start off as kit bashing some Pokemon models that are already ripped from the games, and then they went, no, this is actually getting traction. This is going to be a legitimate game. We don't need placeholder. We don't need demo stuff anymore. We're making a completely like fresh, legit model stuff.
Well,
You
the
looking it up?
interesting thing, I was looking to see if there was a pending lawsuit or anything like that. It seems there have been no indications that Nintendo intends to sue them at all.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
there
that's
there
because the
is no
game got
copyright
released.
infringement. Yeah. Well, and I know you don't like ROM hacks and shit like that, but it seems a lot like where, it has enough uniqueness to it, even if they did rip some models at some point for some parts of the
Mm-hmm.
content, that there is enough uniqueness and additive content to it to where it goes past Uranium did, where that was taken down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also
It's on a
using
different engine.
Pokemon
Yeah,
Uranium, calling
exactly.
it Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely. But like at some point, where is that tread on the IP? Because if
Mm-hmm.
you're not making money on it, technically it's not infringing on it because you're not cashing in on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like legalese wise,
That's
there is disparity to it and it's weird, but this is far enough to where they're able to make money on it. And it's rather interesting that they're able to accomplish this in the way that they are.
I'm
It's
pretty
very
sure.
similar.
Yeah, I'm
It's
pretty
very
sure the
similar to when we looked at like Monster Hunter and shit like that. Like there is differences. There's the same games in a lot of different places. It's just where are they kind of coming from and what are they doing?
Mhm. I'm pretty sure that the thing about copyright, like if you're not making money off of it, you're more safe, is kind of like misunderstanding
It's
because it's one of,
farce, but
yeah, it's like one of the pillars, but you also like if you're just straight stealing it and even distributing it for free, you can still have it taken down, which is also what we saw with uranium. Uranium was free, right?
yeah,
Or did they?
uranium was free
Yeah, so
as far
that
as I know.
so that still kind of shows like even if you're just taking donations, even if it's completely free, you're still not allowed to use IP because that's just copyright law. So I've been
Yeah,
seeing a lot of weird
exactly.
arguments like that.
It's
Um,
weird though. It's where does that IP start and where does it end? Is it the idea? Because the
mhm,
idea isn't by itself. There is things like Monster Hunter. There is things in the same art style. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
There's a lot of different parts of games that combine together. How is IP not convoluted with things like Call of Duty or Medal of Honor or Battlefield? Is it just the name? Because the art styles at some point were very, very,
Yeah,
very, very similar and very identical. It was
big
they all
one,
felt the same.
the big one. Remember when Bluehole sued Epic Games for Fortnite and they
Mhm.
lost?
Yep.
Palworld safe. GG. End of story. That's all there is to it. Done.
Yeah, it's done. No, honestly, and I think it is. Like, I don't think that we're gonna be dealing with this shit at all. I don't think that shit's gonna fall from this because there's genuinely just no reason for it to. At some point, it kind of just isn't convoluted enough and isn't complicated enough for it to be affected in the way that we've seen past. They're saying that they're not suing. The
Mhm.
fact that they're saying that publicly
What do you mean? Wait, when
shows
did they
that they
say
are
it
not.
publicly?
It, it says that there is. Hold on, I will get the exact quote.
Mhm. That that makes it extra interesting. Also, it's like the hypocrisy behind all this drama. So it's like, wait, ROM hacks and all this direct stealing of Pokemon models and sprites and pixel
Uh,
art and building off an entire game. That's cool. But when Palworld allegedly, maybe, probably didn't, kind of did do it, must be evil and destroyed. Even though we've also seen other like fan games take donations or paywall their betas and stuff behind PayPal and stuff.
Okay, so the CEO and lead developer Takahiro Mizabe said Palworld has passed all necessary legal hurdles to clear copyright infringement. He also noted that there haven't been any legal actions taken against Pocket Pair for its overt comparisons to Pokemon, at least not yet anyway. We make our games very seriously, Mizabe said, and we have absolutely no intention of infringing upon any intellectual property of other companies. They stayed in the gray area. They just did.
I thought you said like Nintendo said they had no intentions.
I saw that last time. I'm looking for it. That was just a quote that kind of stuck out.
Because I know about that interview with the CEO saying we had passed all the legal checks. It's like they got legally audited because they got like 200,000 wish listed on Steam. So they probably assumed they were going to make some money off of this and made sure they were super clean. Also, like a lot of the trailers start going viral, getting millions of views. So there's that, and then it seems everything.
So the quote was, "Can Nintendo sue the developers of Palworld?" As the time of this writing, there have been no indications that Nintendo intends to sue Pocket Pair over Palworld Pokemon similarities. That was posted as of 19 hours ago.
Nothing serious and hard.
No. It doesn't seem like they have grounds to sue. Somebody posted on Reddit. It seems like they are starting to draw that line in between the two now.
Also, I think a really big thing is like with how popular it is now and how much support it's getting, because like all of this cancel BS didn't stick at all. Everyone got like laughed off the internet, had to take their Twitter accounts private for all their lies and BS and even the AI and copyright infringement. So like this is what people want. This is the Pokemon PC game that Nintendo would never make. And now everyone loves it. So now if Nintendo goes after them, they have to be 100% sure they win that case and demolish them. If not, then it's like, well, now actually it is the Pokemon killer.
No, absolutely. So it grabbed a couple of the Twitter posts and stuff like that. Let's see if I can share screen.
Yeah, because and then like it's all like that's BS and that's BS, and now these kids are just ill.
No, and it's convoluted, and that's the shit I don't like. Is they added this and added this. They don't intellectually own this. This is not their own one-off design. A flowery neck is not a petally neck. Like that's not like
that's not even close.
Thing.
Like that's not even the same thing. I think there's maybe like 5 or 6 pals that you could look at and be like, okay,
this tail is similar. Okay, yeah, sure, but like they don't own the tail.
Yeah, click on. Look at this fur on edge of face. These kids think that Game Freak owns fur on the edge of face.
Like this idea, I completely understand their point.
Yeah. It's like some of it you can see, okay, at least very, very least inspired, but is that inspired enough for a DMCA? Clearly
I
not.
don't think so. Like, obviously, if they cleared this and it's cleared all of the rights.
But then, like, that's not even close. That's a completely different creature.
Like, a grass archer, is that so unique that you cannot touch that ever? Like, I don't agree with that. It's just it boggles my mind.
And that's fan art. So someone made fan art of a fox wizard.
Yeah, like even if this is Mega Delphox, where the fuck is this crossover for their IP? You are using their IP too. Are you against DMCA? Are you against like, intellectual property?
Like, now they're saying because that the wizard dude exists in Palworld, that fan artist has been like scammed and stolen from off of like the loosest correlations.
This is kind of logical. I understand where this one comes from.
Yeah.
But
he was shown first.
I don't understand. Metal bird all of a sudden. What the fuck?
Not even metal fire.
You're counting the feathers that it has coming to. That is art style, dude. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh, it has 4 claws and 5 feathers. How many fucking feathers do you want it to have?
Yeah.
It's a fucking bird. Same body type. It's a fucking bird. How many fucking birds do you want them to make? If they make 5 birds, one's going to match up.
Let's see if I can find the crazy one where, like, the community has gotten so ill, they've tried to compare every single PAL to being something stolen.
Like I don't understand, man. I don't understand. This shit kind of it looks fucky, and the more that it makes it look fucky, I kind of just don't understand why. Like the Luxray one, the luxury one's probably the one that makes the most sense to me.
And that one's one that isn't in the game.
Oh, it isn't? It's not even
That's
in the
one of
game
the
yet?
ones that got cut.
Oh, it's cut. Okay, got you.
Or,
I'll
well,
share
not
this.
cut, you know, that's like one of the ones
Yeah.
where, yeah.
They remodeled it. Let me show this one.
Yeah, now they have Rayhound. And then, have you seen the Dragon Quest comparison?
But like this one,
no, that
like,
got debunked. That got debunked.
oh, it got debunked.
Yeah,
But
so
like,
look, it doesn't even line up. They're trying to make an
No.
argument for something that doesn't line up.
But like the body style and the way it fits, I understand where they could have the argument of this is similar.
Not even. So
You want to know the
that
crazy
person-
thing though? The art is fucking similar. It's going to be. IP is not just the art style.
Yeah.
You fucking retards.
But
It's
that's
just
in, like,
not.
the worst case interpretation. That person said he hates Palworld because he doesn't like the glorification of animal abuse. So they're just their box is gone to begin with. And then they said they actually
Sounds
changed
like
the
an
size.
extremist furry to me.
Yeah, and then they said they changed the size of the models, so it's not a one-to-one comparison. He had to actually
I don't think any of them would have to be.
yeah,
a
he had to
one-to-one
squeeze
comparison.
it in there, and also the poly counts don't match. So this isn't like with Pokemon Sword and Shield where they were like, oh look, it's the same polys, therefore Game Freak lied. It's not even that. So now they have no argument even on the close ones, and then when you squeeze them together, it's like that's like okay, sure, maybe they had a picture and then they modeled something completely new around it. That's the best, like that's what it really looks like happened, and that's not
like
that.
it seems like they were shown, hey, we like this art style, we like this idea, and then they reuse the idea, which ideas are not unique enough for it to fucking work.
Did you see the Dragon Quest comparison? I linked it in private.
I haven't.
That's it's the crazy one.
Crazy one. Let's see.
Crazy one, dude. You're not gonna believe this shit.
Oh yes, I did see this. I saw this.
So wait a second, like this. So people like, and then all the Palworld haters. Can you pull that one up and make it fit nice?
Yeah, I'm working on that right now.
All right, yeah. So all the Palworld haters saw this and had a complete melty and like, this isn't even close. This isn't even remotely the same thing. You guys are crazier than us for thinking that Pokemon was inspired by Dragon Quest. Like, bro, there's a good amount of those that are like as rippy as what we see with Palworld. And then of course some of them don't make any sense and line up. Like, yeah, Dragon Quest doesn't own a duck or Chinese dragon style, sure, but it's the same argument where, as we just saw, like they get more and more deranged and more detached when they're just like, we own this now. So it's the same exact argument, and they just couldn't deal.
The thing is you want to hear the craziest part? How many of these people do you think have Pokemon tattoos on their arms? Tattoos on their legs.
Better one. How many of them made Pokesonas as a kid?
Yep. It's like you have infringed on their property just as much as they did.
Actually pirated
Maybe
the game.
even more.
Most of them have probably pirated the game, played a ROM hack, and wanted Pokemon Uranium. Screw off.
Like as a whole, I'm not gonna demonize either of those things. Like, and I know you will because I understand your sentiment of it.
Yeah, but
like,
I just call out the hypocrisy. That's free. That's easy.
It's absolutely there, and I completely agree. But like you enjoy the content. If you don't enjoy the content, don't fucking play the game. Why the fuck are you bitching? It's the same exact argument that everybody had with fucking Hogwarts. Oh, you don't want to deal with the fact that there's not a trans character? Okay, don't fucking click the game then. It's not fucking hard not to buy the fucking game. Let fucking people play the thing that they want to fucking play. It's not fucking rocket science. It's not crazy. Just don't fucking buy it. You want to know how to show them that you don't fucking care? Don't fucking buy it. It's not hard. It's not crazy. It's not insane. Just don't do it.
There's a million layers to this.
It just isn't. And I hate this fucking world. I really do. The way that the world is going is absolutely asinine. The fact that these fucking AirPods don't last when I need them to last is absolutely worse.
I like how angry and popping off you're getting, because that was me like when this whole thing started. So I already got that out in my system. And now I'm just mocking them because it came out they all lied. They all lied about everything. The models, the AI, the initial thing, that Dragon Quest thing. I got just like so hype off of seeing that just debunk everyone and everyone go crazy. But the craziest part is why. Like, okay, sure, like things must be canceled, but why now? Palworld's been a thing for 2.5 years, and they've been releasing the Pal deck. So you know how like Pokemon does trailers revealing new Pokemon? Palworld's been revealing Pals for over half a year. There's 50 trailers that came out before the game's release, but only now is all of this drama happening. So it's like, why are Pokemon fans scared of Palworld this much? Because it just started doing good. Like, only after it became a success did all of this canceling happen. What the fuck is wrong with everyone and the internet?
Honestly, and that's the same exact thing that happened with Pokemon Uranium. It's not when it's being created ever. It's once it starts becoming like with that steam and that push behind it, and it becomes something, everybody wants it to be gone. Like it's not day one when it's released. It's not when, oh, this is a cool thing. It's when it becomes the thing. It's when it becomes the biggest thing in this situation. All of a sudden, now it needs to be canceled.
Yeah.
You look at Call of Duty when Fortnite dropped, everybody started complaining about it. And it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew. Now it's like, oh, why the fuck do we want to deal with this? Call of Duty dies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same exact thing over and over and over again. Nobody sits there and complains about the thing on day one. They complain about it on day 50 when it's the largest thing in the world.
But why is Palworld a problem? Like, why is Palworld a problem to them? I don't get it.
Because it's the comparison. It's the comparison. It's the fact that there's able to be comparison. And it's really weird to me when you have games that are much more similar, in my opinion, in things like Fallout and Zelda than you do with Palworld and Pokemon. Is there a basis similarity in Palworld and Pokemon? Absolutely. But the only difference in between Zelda and fucking Fallout is the fact that it happened in the 50s instead of the 500s.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. Is setting.
Yeah, Palworld is more Arc than anything. Like, anyone that plays it, like, oh, this is Arc with a Pokemon can of paint. This is RimWorld because of all the base management. And the devs even said, like, they were inspired more by Arc and RimWorld than Pokemon. And then they just, went monster collecting, let's have fun.
When you have a dev come out from Activision said, oh, we like the way Overwatch is, so we made Black Ops 4 mirror Overwatch. You have all of the answers of this is what they do. This is what all devs do. They find the gray area of what they like because they also play games too. They play all of these games. They're probably some of our friends, just like we found out with the episode with fucking Mars. Like, the people that you hang out with there, the people that you talk to may just be one of those people that are on the other side that are working on the things that you enjoy, or some fucking weirdo. You don't fucking know. They could be playing right next to you and enjoying the same things that you do and putting those thoughts and those ideas that they have because they're creative into the things that they do as their job.
And then even weirder is like, okay, so like it's the thing, it's too similar, but then all the complaints for the last 6-7 years have been Game Freak sucks, Game Freak is lazy, we need real competition, so Game Freak steps it up. Real competition lands, just takes over the internet, takes over everything, and now it's like, oh, we didn't want this. We didn't realize we didn't want this. And now it's like, but this is only a good thing. We have indie devs making the passion project into an actual incredible, fully playable game, one of the most polished early access games ever that is actually just fully playable. You got 100 hours gameplay already. Bad. But that's what everyone said they wanted. I don't know.
And it's mind-blowing because they're releasing on all platforms.
What?
There's possibility for PlayStation coming.
I heard that. Like, I haven't heard anything confirmed about that.
Not confirmed, but obviously with there being rumblings about it, there's probably smoke and fire. There's probably something there.
I think there was an issue there because they had to switch from Unreal to Unity, and then also they got like maybe Microsoft exclusivity outside of Steam.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
they were released on the Xbox Game Pass, I believe, which is one of the reasons why the game is blowing up so quickly. But as a whole, like it's really fucking interesting to see a game do numbers like this from an indie dev, and this is the second or third one in a row now. We have Palworld that did the same exact thing. We have that fucking space junk game that just came out probably like 6-7 months ago. What the fuck was that called?
Space junk game.
Yeah, it was like I could look at fucking Aiden's channel. YouTube.
Okay, so yeah, and then oh man, I got a little distracted on what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, PUBG. Like, PUBG was an indie project. PUBG is just a Unity asset, just cramming everything in. It's a Unity asset shop flip, and then that got 3 mil concurrent players.
And that's my point. It's like we're going through and change Lethal Company. And then you also have plasmophobia, which is relatively
Yeah.
similar in the same aspect of it just growing. It just doing the things that you don't expect it to do and kind of pushing forward. You have these games coming at the top of the fucking leaderboard now. Above AAA titles, above the titles that we all buy and all spend money and we all
Starfield
spend
was
70
shit.
fucking dollars on. Now these games are the top.
Mm-hmm.
Now the games that were like, oh, this was my stupid fucking idea when I was 7 years old. Now all of a sudden those games are the top of the leaderboard of the games that we want to play. And we're paying $20 for them instead of 70. It's really fucking weird when that's the dichotomy of what the fuck gaming has become. For so long it was, oh, you buy Need for Speed, you buy Call of Duty, you buy this game, you buy that game
Pokemon.
yearly, and that's the only choices you have. Those are the only things you want, really. So it doesn't really fucking matter anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You spend $120, $240, and you have a year's worth of content. You don't care. Now we're spending the same amount of money on 10, 15 games, and it's just growing and growing. It's weird. It's honestly really weird.
And then when like the yearly games, when you run out of those, just fall back on Super Smash Brothers because that's the only other thing left.
Oh, that's exactly what I do. It always goes back to Call of Duty, whether that's Modern Warfare 2 or just going back and playing some games, or I'll go back to Pokemon or Zelda. It's literally the same 3 games every single year. I will get tired of something. I will just be like, fuck it. I don't care anymore and just be like, I'm done. It happens. It happens every single time. And I know it. I know it. Everybody does it. It's interesting. You even see Kyle do it. He's like, yeah, I'm just going back to Rust. I'm just going back to fucking PUBG. I'm just going, you know what I'm saying? He just falls right back to it. Oh, I'm going to go back to Tarkov. It's always those games that give you that itch. And once you get that itch, you just go back.
Yeah. So I rented a little bit on Starfield. Did you play or experience Starfield? Do you have thoughts about that?
I watched Ippo probably play for about an hour. Those games are really, really odd to me. And it's kind of the fantasy thing. I don't like fantasy all that much. I don't like space. I don't like the idea of space.
Okay.
Not because like space as a whole. I don't like that everything space-wise is so futuristic. I can't put myself in it. Just like, oh, I can't put myself as a knight. I don't like that idea. I find so much more logic with Zelda than I do going through and playing what the that fucking knight fighting game. What the fuck was that back in the day? There was the fuck. I want to say Armor Up, but that's not the answer.
Yeah, I don't have any clue what's going on in your head.
No, there was a not an FPS, but like a 1v1 game mode where you could play armored people against armored people, and it was fucking weird. It was like a fighting game, but not a fighting game all at the same time. I can't put myself into those worlds enough to where I feel kind of placed into those worlds. I have the same struggle with Fallout. The art style kind of drags me out of it because it's too exaggerated for me to kind of put myself into. And that to me is just weird. It's just weird as a whole. I don't know. I'm just odd. I went from playing all those games and sports games to just not liking any of them.
Weird. Yeah, my take was like the discourse around Starfield was interesting because everyone was like praising, defending it, like, oh man, this is great. It's like Fallout in space, and I love Bethesda. But then all of their arguments are the same, where it's like, well, yeah, Bethesda makes 7 out of 10 games at best, and Starfield is no different. You just wait for the modding scene to carry it. Like, that sounds like a shit game. And me, I'm not a Bethesda fanboy, so I was watching it, and I could like just play the entire game in my head because the gameplay loop was so scripted. You go to planet. Planet spawns like 4 areas you go to. You go to a base, you raid it. You go back to a trader, you sell it until they run out of money. You go back to a base, you get new guns, you get new weapons. You repeat for 40 hours until you beat the game. That's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing interesting that happens. You just RPG scale it until you're stronger than everyone. And if you ever need to like get stronger, you fall back to a base and you do the same boring gameplay loop 5 more times.
No, and that's the exact problem that I have with all of those game types. Like, and Pokemon's the best at it, I feel, because you have to level up everything kind of equally or you get butt fucked. And like as a whole, if you go in and play fucking Fallout and you overlevel in fucking perception, you're going to be better than everything in the game. It's not hard anymore. If you overlevel one Pokemon fucking 5 levels over the next gym leader, you kind of run through that gym, but you get butt fucked probably 2 gyms down the road when you don't have any mons other than one that is even anywhere close to what you need.
That's what revives are for.
Yeah, but as a whole, like, it just gets
Yeah.
fucky. It just gets fucky as a whole, and that's where kind of Pokemon fits into that whole RPG done right kind of thing. And I'm hoping that Palworld's better than that because I'm really rather interested in what it is. I just haven't had the availability to buy it yet.
Mm-hmm. Palworld, like the gameplay loop of Palworld, since it is open world and like the level scaling is not fully understood, but there's like leveling mechanics and like the money system, like everything is just so fresh and new and open world that you can play it like in infinity different ways and still have struggle no matter what. Like it's a hard game because there's also open world combat that's action real time with shooting. So
Yeah.
if you have skill issue, you're just having a hard time. So it's got that Dark Souls element as well, where like, oh, if I can't dodge and like kite and synergize with my pal in a fight in the right way, it's way harder. So I either have to level up, over level to even stand a chance because the bosses, it'll say a level 30 boss and it's got 20,000 health and a bullet's doing 6 damage. You're sucked. It's over.
No, and it's really thoroughly interesting. I really like the way that it looks. I like the idea of where it's at. It's kind of just it's interesting to see where it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thoroughly interested because it's such a not even a unique idea. It's kind of what everybody envisioned when they started
Yeah.
playing Call of Duty and Halo to begin with. Was what happens if we put guns in every single game that's possible? What happens if we do this with guns and do that with guns? I don't think everybody thought Pokemon was going to be the first one.
Well, it's also kind of weird because, like, okay, so what does a gun represent inside of a game? It's like powerful weaponized combat. But I mean, like, then you have a Pikachu that shoots electricity and then can zap things and also do like serious damage to them as
Yeah,
well.
what's the genuine difference?
Turns out
What's the
nothing, and
genuine
that's why everyone loves
Yeah.
Palworld.
What's the difference in between magic and a gun? It's kind of the
Mm-hmm.
same idea, and it's just a reskin of the same exact idea. In all
Yeah.
honesty, it just is. Just like if you go through and you play Baldur's Gate, if they had a version of that like Company of Heroes, it's kind of the same fucking thing. If you control one character and you go through the game and you can shoot people,
Mm-hmm.
isn't that weird? It's kind of the same fucking thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh, is everything intellectual property? Is everything the
Oh,
same
damn,
fucking
you
idea over and
tied
over
that
again?
together
I
great.
broke it together perfectly. Look at that. It's fucking crazy. It's sad. It's sad because everybody just wants to demonize things. Everybody wants to fuck around with things and kind of just screw around. You
Yeah.
don't have to. You don't have to just say this is bad because it's similar. It can be similar. Everything's fucking similar. Everything's the fucking same if you just break it down to a vague level.
Yeah, definitely. And like that, I think the only distinguishing factor of a gun, like, because you said, like, what's the difference between magic and a bullet? Nothing. The only distinguishing factor is how gory you make it, which is why Fortnite succeeds. Fortnite is cartoony, but with an actual gun, and then children are playing it and
Mhm.
no one seems to have a problem with that because it's that cartoony kind of style. Same thing when you're watching kids show. Kids show, they'll have guns on the bad guys and they'll shoot things and you're
But
fine.
you
Not
you even
yeah.
look at things like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff when we grew up. Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh kind of played off of each other. You had
Hmm.
Pokemon that was very, very, very G-rated and kind of played in that I'm gonna just explode and get everybody addicted to this. And Yu-Gi-Oh kind of played off of the I'm gonna be darker. I'm gonna play around with kind of the gray area and stuff like that. You had guns and
Hmm.
everything else, and it succeeded in a different way. It's still around. The
Hmm.
fact that it's still there is just proof that the idea works. If and with the way that our demo is, if you look at that 25 to 30 demo or that 25 to 35 demo, we all like dark humor. We all like dark games. The ones of us that are willing to accept things are the ones that will buy this or buy that idea as a
Hmm.
whole. Just make the game that I love dark. Just make the idea that I love dark or violent and you'll buy it. We grew up on fucking South Park. We grew up watching Donald Trump telling everybody they're fired on TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a whole,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we kind of look for every single place that we look for things.
I think
That's
the
why the
magic
world is the way
is
it is.
not going too dark though. You get too graphic, too dark, and then you do start
Mortal
turning a lot of
Kombat,
people off.
Mortal Kombat did it, and it's succeeding.
I don't like Mortal Kombat. Like that's too dark and gory for me. And I think it does have a very powerful and large niche, but it doesn't capture the entire demographic.
But how much of that demo would it turn against it if it kind of went back to no longer blood and guts and gore? Like
Well,
at
then you
some
have Street
point,
Fighter.
then you have a different game. It's a different
Mhm.
idea. You kind of just go exaggerated with it, and it becomes its own kind of entity and place. And that's the exact argument that a lot of people are kind of placing against Palworld. Oh, this doesn't change enough. No, it seems like it changes exactly enough. It seems like it pushes forward exactly enough. You want to know why? Because it actually showcases the thing. It does the thing that everybody wanted it to do to begin with. It wanted it to be Pokemon with guns.
Mhm. Yeah,
It
that's one
wanted
thing.
it.
I just looked it up. So Street Fighter 6, because that's like I guess the closest new Street
Mhm.
Fighter, if you like remove violence from Mortal Kombat, 2.5 million sales
Yeah.
in some amount. And then the article for Mortal Kombat 1, which was like the re-release that
Yep.
got
Yep.
big, 3 million sales. So Mortal Kombat, you would I don't think like my brain just does not think Mortal Kombat bigger than Street Fighter, but Mortal Kombat bigger than Street Fighter. At least on like
Mortal
just
Kombat's
quick Google
bigger than
search.
Street Fighter and Tekken.
Tekken I can see.
The only fighter that is bigger than Mortal Kombat, I believe, which it might not even be, I'm just kind of going off of like sound of community,
Mhm.
would probably be Smash. But
Well,
Smash
yeah.
gets so few titles so often, it probably kind of everybody ends up buying it because it's a fun party game.
Yeah. Oh, Smash is
To,
absolutely bigger. Anything Nintendo is like 20 million sales.
yeah, but how many of those people are just buying the game to let it sit there compared to playing it actively? And that kind of is different, and I understand
Mhm.
that. To me, Mortal Kombat, I love that fucking story. I've loved that fucking story since I was fucking 3 years old. I loved those games since I was 3 years old. So to me, that's one of my comfort places. Like I remember I bought Mortal Kombat 1 probably like a week and a half after release. And me and my kids just sat down and played Mortal Kombat 1, just playing it on the Ally downstairs through Connect Play on my PlayStation. And
Hmm.
we sat there playing it for like 3-4 hours, just fucking with each other, learning all the characters and stuff like that. I streamed most of the story. The story's fucking fantastic. And that's the thing that I don't think Tekken and Street Fighter have. They don't have the story. Mortal Kombat, because it's set in that semi pseudo fantasy realm, there is a difference of life that you can put yourself in, but it doesn't
Mhm.
actually change the way the story is. You can put any character in there, give them any kind of power, and as long as it's logical and balanced with what the other characters are, you can have any person beat any person and it makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, their
Where a
power
lot
system just materialized into wow, that works.
Yeah. Fire beats you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
it all makes sense, and you can put any kind of thought process. You could put a werewolf in there and it would make sense. You could put Jason Voorhees in there and it made sense. And like you just go through the different ideas or properties and you could see all of them kind of make sense. They could literally be the horror genre of fucking Smash. They could add in fucking people from Call of Duty. You could get Captain Price in there and he fucking pulls out an M16 and shoots somebody 5-6 times, runs up to you, kicks you in the balls, and then knees you in the mouth. And look, that's 20%. That
Mhm.
makes sense. All of it kind of makes sense. You could
And
put
that's
a
fair.
lot of people in those spaces. And it's interesting. It's thoroughly interesting. You saw that happen when we were kids with Soul Calibur. They put in Kratos, they put in fucking Link, depending on the platform. I think Mortal Kombat does that in this next 2 or 3 games. They're going to start expanding out and kind of picking up IPs and properties like they did in the last generation, where
They
it was
put
horror films last time.
Invincible in
Hmm.
Omni-Man, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
And they're balanced enough to where they hit hard and they're fast, but goddamn, can they not take a punch? Like they made them so that way it's kind of logical. Oh, they're glass. They're fucking
Mhm.
glass. If you get hit, you're fucked. You're taking 40%, you're taking 60%, but you're getting fucked if you miss one of those hits. And it's such a timing based thing, and it's really, really fucking interesting. It's similar to VGC or Smogon, where you have to have the timing right of this is going to happen now.
Mhm.
You have to have the predictions going. It's fun.
Yeah, that's
It's a
fighting
fun
games.
game. Yeah. I was playing with my son probably like 3 months ago, 2 months ago, and Sub Zero surprisingly is the worst character in this game. Like one of the worst characters has been since after the beta. They nerfed him after the beta, and I hit 80% on him. He's like, "Nope, I'm
Mhm.
done." He just sat down the controller. He was like, "I'm done for the night." Then you knew what you were
Mhm.
doing today. It's not my day. I'm gonna go play Fortnite. I'm done today, and it's there is not that level of satisfaction in other games now. There just isn't, because you don't fuck people up to that level in Call of Duty. You don't fuck even a 6-0 doesn't feel like that in Pokemon, or a 4-0 in Pokemon. It doesn't feel like that. You could outplay somebody completely and they're just like, I didn't even touch you. No, you had the chance. You
Or
had
like
the chance.
one BS thing takes it away from you, where it's like, oh well, I got the crit and that snowballed
Yeah.
it, and then it's like, oh, he's going to take away and be like, well, that doesn't count because of the crit. But every Pokemon game is won by some amount of RNG because it's just so prevalent inside of it. Fighting games, that's like the rawest skill expression.
Yeah, and it's so cool because of my neck. Like I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to play quick action
Mm.
games like that, where it's like super intuitive and button pressy, and you have to know exactly what you're doing when you're doing it. Because I lose control of my hand, like my entire arm fucking goes numb because of my neck. So it's so weird to actually be able to do those things and kind of enjoy them with them, because they're enjoying them now too. Like sitting down, me, the baby, and both the older two, we were sitting here playing Mortal Kombat on Saturday night with my girlfriend.
Wow.
We were just sitting here as a family, just playing fucking games together and just playing Mortal Kombat and having some fun. It's really, really interesting to kind of just watch them explore the same things that I explored as a 10-year-old and 11-year-old. It's really, really interesting for them to enjoy the same things. And so much of that, I think a lot of people kind of point to, oh, well, you gave it to them. No, they find interest in similar things because they're your kids. They see you get excited about it, so they see it too.
Hmm. And
It's
like the
interesting.
problem is arcades are dead right now too, so it's a different kind of experience having kids, right?
Yeah, no, it's not. Go send your kid to the fucking arcade and let them sit there and hand them $10 and tell them to figure it out. You're sitting down and you actually have to spend time with your kid to play video games now. You actually have to do the thing. You
Hmm.
can't just go somewhere and drop them off and tell them to enjoy. Where, as Woody said, get handed a roll of quarters and wait, no, we need a roll of quarters. You take the roll of quarters and our circle bed will rotate and vibrate while you're gone. There is no level of that anymore. It's just you have to actually spend the time with your kid in order for them to kind of see the things or enjoy the things that you want, which is kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, that also makes sense because like our generation grew up playing games, whereas the parents mostly didn't. My dad was a nerd though. He loved Millipede, Centipede. He would play the Super Nintendo Mario and Donkey Kong games with us. So he would
Yeah,
actually
that
be the one that would be like, "Let's get a family pass for," or like all the things. He would start playing like the arcade games at Chuck E. Cheese's, and we had a
yeah,
local place called Boomers. So like the family jumping in is also really cool. Played Ghost Recon with dad, where you're ducking and doing the reload and shit.
that's what I loved. One of the major positive things about my mom, when she was such a negative entity sometimes, she's the reason why I was able to pick up a controller at 2.5 years old. She's like, Zach, come play with me.
Hmm.
Zach, come play Mario Kart. Zach, come play Mortal Kombat. And we sat there, and that grew the thing that made it so way I was able to get through.
Yeah, Super
It,
Mario
it,
World was mine with dad, where it's just like I don't know how many single 3, 4 I was when we just had the Super Nintendo. And that means he already had the Super
exactly.
Nintendo before us. We were able to function with it.
And it was cool because as we grew and changed systems, she was like, Zach, which one do we want?
Hmm.
Zach, which one do we want to get? And it was so interesting just to be able to see that and kind of look at it. I remember a few years ago, it wasn't a few years ago, it was like a decade ago now. I sold my N64 with like 85 games because I wanted to be able to get Call of Duty and stuff like that because my 360 broke. I was like, I wish I didn't do that. I
Hmm.
wish I didn't, because that would be so fucking nice to have 80 games worth of classic games just sitting behind me and shit now.
Yeah.
But it's like, it was nice. I had 80 games for N64. I had 80 games for fucking PS2. It was so nice to be able just to have those always and just be able to do them and play them whenever I wanted to. And at the drop of a hat, if you said, I'm going to play Mario Party, you had a full fucking party worth of people to play. It's so
Yeah, the squad
interesting.
shows up. Your friends are ready for that.
Whether it's friends, you have your mom jump in, you
Family,
have
yeah.
your sister jump, it was so cool, and it's interesting to watch my kids get excited about the same fucking thing. You watch the light just click, and it's just like, yeah, they wanna enjoy it too. They do enjoy it too, and it's like, regardless of who wants to try and take that from them, it's not going anywhere. They enjoy it
Hmm.
at some level. They enjoy it, and they get the excitement out of it too, and that's so fucking cool. It's so cool to see them just kind of light up when they do something that, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to beat me yet. You're not supposed to be at that level yet. And it's like, you're 10 years old, but I won. It's like, no, you're an asshole. You did good. keep going.
Man, there's also a lot of like just show episodes about that. You know, the passing of the torch is now through the video games, and the parents they can't deal, at least for the comedic
Oh,
effect of it.
it's so fun. I love that shit, man. I love watching, and my daughter does it too, but not as much as Nick. The probably like a month and a half ago, we were playing a trios game on Fortnite with my girlfriend and him. It was my girlfriend's first game in the fucking thing, so I'm babysitting her, carrying her around the map, making sure she's safe. This kid drops fucking 30, just running around killing everything he sees. I'm dropping 10 while I'm making sure somebody's safe. This kid drops 30. And I'm like, what the fuck did you just do? He's like, I don't know. It just worked. It just clicked. I couldn't tell you, Dad. Just watching his excitement though, I was like, dude, you legitimately were fucking 3 or 4 away from a world fucking record with somebody in our lobby that completely has never touched the game. Where the fuck? Where did you learn this, kid? Where did you do this? Because you're not supposed to do this yet. You may be learning fucking Fortnite, but you're not supposed to be a level at like gray area around you could play this and make a shit ton of money.
That's because that just like clicks something really like. Sorry to cut you off again. My brain fried. If a thought hits, it needs to go.
Gfuel. That's how we're getting through this right now. Yep.
Well, I have the energy. I just don't have the tact. So
exactly. Brain function not there. Energy there.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Thought go.
Staying alive. Just coasting it right now. We just saw it with Tetris. The kid that beat Tetris. It was like a 13-year-old.
Did you see the fucking clip from the newscast?
Mm-hmm.
I've never been so fucking angry at something in my fucking life. And normally I don't care about things. But that fucking snotty ass cunt, I've never seen anybody so uppity about something that they don't give a fuck about. Why in the fuck? Okay, first off, the kid plays Tetris to the point and streams it to the point where he plays it and breaks the fucking score and the game freezes and crashes. That is cool as fuck. Regardless of what the fuck happens next, that is cool. Kid needs and deserves all of the support in the world. You did something nobody has done yet ever in all of existence of Tetris. No matter
Tetris,
which,
the largest selling, highest selling game in the world. A 13-year-old comes up, beats it.
Not beats it, breaks it.
Yeah, well, that's the
the
impossible to beat game has been beaten by a kid.
Yeah, a kid that isn't even legally allowed to stream on any fucking platform. His parents signed him up. I hope that he gets all of the money and the accolades for the things that he just did. That is cool as fuck. Then, this is when I found out about it. So there's this uppity fucking cunt on some local news channel, maybe a regional news channel. I don't know. I don't really care. She looks like the stereotypical Kate Gosselin hair wearing fucking mom that's named Karen. And she's like, back in my day, we went out and we played in the grass. I was like, first off, you probably never went outside. You probably played with your makeup, you trailed your hair in your fingers, and you sung into a fucking brush for your entire life. And then you figured out that boys were a thing, and then you tried to just enjoy those. That's probably all you've done with your life.
You poured fake tea for your Barbies.
Yes, you poured fake tea for your Barbies. Exactly. Then this bitch is like, yeah, so in my opinion, sir, regardless of if you broke a game that was made in the 70s, I think you just need to go touch grass. And I'm like, you that is cancelable.
Out of touch.
Not only out of touch, the thing that our generation and everybody's been told since the inception of America was the American dream. Accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. That means you don't have to understand what the fuck my dream is. You don't have to understand why the fuck I talk into this microphone. You don't have to understand why the fuck I do what I do. But guess what? You better fucking respect it. It doesn't matter if you understand it. Do not belittle me for the things that I'm doing to accomplish the things that I want to do. It's not your fucking job. And the fact that cunt is like, oh yeah, you did something so cool. Go touch grass because obviously you could do better with your life. No, fuck you. He probably will make more money than you ever did in your entire fucking life if he keeps going.
In his first year.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if he is an entertaining person to be around, he will be the next ninja. He just will be.
Yeah.
You tell me how many people break a game that's 70 years fucking old. Obviously 70's hyperbolic, but still, like, how many people do that? Fucking none.
Mm-hmm.
That is a level of hand-eye coordination and logic that most people do not fucking have, and he will be breaking games from the jump. He just
Yeah.
will. He will be looking at things differently. His mind is a way that you're able to achieve the things in the world that you want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want to learn how to do this or do that? That kid probably could tell you. You give
And
him
I
a little
think
bit, let him look at the puzzle and fix it.
Mhm. And I think the most insulting thing is like it wasn't a BuzzFeed article. It wasn't IGN or Eurogamer trying to piss people off for the clicks. That is someone's genuine in the moment response when they have nothing to gain from it. And it's just like,
Yeah,
wow,
it's like
that's a sincere thought. This isn't like a shit post. This is a real human that thought belittling this kid for doing an incredible achievement that should just pass the eye test of I can't even see the pixels move that fast, and he's able just to perfectly stack it and then do a correct sequence to break the game when you can't even get past level 5. I
I
can look at
remember.
something I'm not interested in and think, yeah, I respect it.
And like you look back at Gamergate where all these females were like, "Oh, we get treated like shit when we join video games. We get told tits or get the fuck out." Okay. So why are you worried about being a female playing video games? You're just somebody playing video games at that point. It's like this chick wanted to literally teabag a child because, oh, this is an easy story. Look, I can just tell him to go touch grass. It'll be funny. No, you probably should lose
Mhm.
your job, you fucking cunt. You probably should
Hundo
not
P.
pass go. You're kind of a piece of shit. You probably shouldn't be talking on a microphone because you don't genuinely understand what the fuck the world is.
Yeah, that kind of spite needs to bag groceries.
That kind of spite literally probably will receive everything they ever want for the rest of their life because I'm a semi pretty female. If I lose everything, I can just set up my life in some rich guy's life and all of a sudden everything's handed to me anyway. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because you get those fucking dipshits that kind of just shit on everybody and expect it to be okay. I don't fucking like those people. I don't fucking like them at all. It pisses me off.
I need to lie to myself and just be like, nah, there's no way like such a shriveled, hateful pussy will be able to get a gold dig like that. Like you can't keep a man with that.
No, no, you absolutely can because men think
Fuck.
getting
I
get
said, give me my cope. Give me my
no,
cope.
no, you don't get the cope. You don't get the
Oh
cope
fuck.
because we need to teach females and we need to teach dudes one thing. Nagging does not fucking keep a relationship. And that goes to all of you dudes out there. If you get fucking nagged, if you get sit there and get, oh, did you take the garbage out now? Did you take the garbage out now? Huh, I'll fucking take the garbage. No, fuck you. That is not how life or relationships should work. You don't need to micromanage anybody. It's not your fucking job.
Mm-hmm.
Your job is these tasks, these tools, and if you want it done so badly, fucking get it done and stop fucking complaining about it. Relationships are a team, not fucking sitting there with your thumb up your ass and only want to whine and complain when somebody else doesn't do the job that you think it needs to have done.
Mm-hmm. It's a
Fuck
partnership.
you. Yeah. And so many people want to just accept because they're afraid of what they can't get next.
Yeah, and it does go both ways. Like, there's definitely ultra shitty dudes where it's like, well, he actually like made the mess and needed to take out the garbage and all that stuff, and it would just
Absolutely.
be the nice thing to do. So like,
Accountability.
there is balance there, but at the same time, you're also just kind of like seeing the shittiness where it's like there's so much spite between the genders right now. There's just so
Well,
much not wanting to work
the
together, trust each other.
the interesting thing is I think a lot of females, if they don't have a very, very strong dad in the home or a very vocal dad in the home, they don't get told, oh, well, this is how you treat a guy.
Hmm.
This is how you get the things that you want by being kind. They get told, oh, you get to get the things you want because you're a shitbag. That's all you have to do is just be a
Yeah,
shitbag and you get everything handed to you.
and they only
You
hear
don't
negative things about the dad, where it's just like fucking child support and he bastard over here.
whether it's child support, whether it's deadbeat dad, whether it's sitting here and watching Family Guy and The Simpsons, every single dad is a fucking buffoon. Every single fucking one. So what are they going to learn? When are they
Yeah.
going to learn that dads aren't a fucking buffoon? 90% of the time, if they tell you something, it's probably how they see the world. It's probably the right answer, and it's probably going to help you in a way that you probably won't expect.
Hmm.
It's weird. It's honestly weird because so many females now just think, oh, I'm so moody when I get my period. Oh, but that guy's horny. He's a piece of shit. They
Yeah.
they don't see anything as equals.
Shrugging
They
off that
see everything.
accountability.
Yeah, that accountability is completely gone and unavailable. It just they have to understand that there is parity to the things that they feel. Every single thing that they feel, we feel in a different way. It's just different. But that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you're not accountable to my feelings like I am yours.
Yeah. I think there's also a lot of ego there where it's just like, I could leave him and get another guy tomorrow.
Well, and that's exactly what me and Burns were talking about. Like as a whole, that's men's fault. We see some sort of value in that female. All of a sudden, 50 fucking dudes are in their DMs, regardless of if they're in or out of a relationship. And then it comes down to the impulse control of the female. That's not how things should work. It's not, let me just upgrade every 20 fucking minutes. Where does that accountability come from? If a female is left because they're a piece of shit, maybe, just maybe, we should teach them that they're being a piece of shit.
Mhm.
Maybe you should realize what the fuck just happened and why they walked out of a relationship before you fucking jump in one with them. Wouldn't
Yeah,
that
just
make
make me
sense?
think. Yeah, because like just and also like the fallout from that because so we're having this like movement within within guys where just like oh body count matters now. Oh her behavior and like those little things that used to slide or were like red flags. Like no red flags bad. Do not avoid at all costs even on like the small ones now because it's been proven time and time again. It's like these people don't change. This is going to create problems down the road, and then now you have other issues. So everyone's being driven apart in different ways, but then they still need each other. So it's like now this is the OnlyFans culture. These are where all these guys that are coming from with the porn addictions and stuff, and like it's all destabilized. Everything's fallen to crap.
It's instant gratification. That's all they want. That's all
Mhm.
anybody wants is just the availability to get their rocks off and feel like everything's okay.
Yeah, and we're
You
surviving without each other when we need each other.
Yeah, and you have the loud minorities on both sides being the way that everybody kind of perceives the world. And fucking not not Ben, but the fucking tall white dude with the kind of swoopy hair. He's the dude that runs that fucking One America First organization or something like that. He's the dude that does essentially what Ben and Steven Crowder do. He goes and talks at college campuses and stuff like that. He's like, you want to know how the right and these dudes that want families and everything else win? They wait 20 years
Mhm.
because guess who's not having kids? The
Guess who
loud
can't have
fucking
an
obnoxious,
OnlyFans anymore?
people that are just like, you know what? I'm going to showcase myself. I'm going to sell every single little bit of me. Guess what? The morality of everybody that is
Mhm.
on the one side is going to win. The level that everybody is pushing for is going to win because now we're going to have kids that are going to have the same level of morality when half of the left is not having kids at all.
Yeah.
How are they going to showcase their morality or their values to anybody if
Yeah.
there is no kids left?
My brain just exploded from like the thought of that because I was thinking like, oh, it's bad on both sides in the way it's like, well, you have the people that just like are porn addicted or like making all these fantasies and like just getting all cretinous over there. But you lose less of yourself when you jack off than you give up yourself to another guy or something. So like there
Yeah.
is like less deterioration, even though it's still degenerate.
Well, there's more degenerate right now on the dudes because as you grow as a dude, you will not find the same instant gratification from the same thing for your entire life. That will
Mhm.
change. That
Yeah.
level of degeneracy will grow, and that level of degeneracy will get worse and worse and worse and worse as time goes on.
Yeah, and that's
It
how you get
just will.
incels and stuff. So I guess yeah, it does go bad. I feel like you still lose at least a little bit less of yourself off in
Which
that way.
which is why we're seeing which is where the female degeneracy is coming from right now. As dudes are looking for more and more and more degenerate culture, the females are becoming more and more degenerate to match the want and the craving of the male. And it's just becoming fucked up in that same exact circumstance.
Yeah,
You
and
have
somehow that's
dudes
not
looking
leading
for
to us
more and
coming
more.
together. It's the degeneracy spreading us apart, but then also still being symbiotic in that way.
Well, you remember like the fucking recycling symbol where it's like arrow to this, arrow to that.
Hmm.
It's like we're two fucking arrows where the centers don't meet at all. We're like a fucking circle of an arrow where we need each other, but it's like a fucking double helix of fucking DNA.
I'm too
Instead
tired.
of making DNA, we're just
Yeah.
repeating it.
I'm just like, I think we're getting on a point here, but at the same time, I've played what day is it? I've played 80 hours of gameplay in the last week. I might just be stupid.
No. I'm the Theo Vaughn here. You're the non-degenerate furry. You're supposed to correct me. We're supposed to bounce off each other in that way.
I just hate everyone.
I hate a lot of people too. Honestly, the
Yeah.
level that this world is kind of coming to just thoroughly makes me angry.
Yeah, I'm like, well, Twitch thoughts got their comeuppance because now they can't be sexy on Twitch anymore, so that's cool. But there's still a lot of incels out there that are funding the OnlyFans. I hate everyone.
The dudes that made fun of the legalized nudity on Twitch was so fucking funny for a good 3 days. And the second they started having to ban dudes instead of females,
Mhm.
it got so bad and so fucking
That's just
loud.
how bad our society is. That is very bad. That is not good for the overall what's going on. And what do we get out of it? 3 days of entertainment. Enjoy the trade. Yeah, trade offer. Destruction of your moral fabric and society and relationships.
And all of Twitch.
3 days of entertainment.
Twitch is gone now. Twitch is going to die.
Oh, absolutely.
That choice right there, and then them walking it back instead of fucking
Mhm.
banning that female. That's all they had to do. Perma ban.
Yeah.
No. That's all they had to do. Stop allowing
But they
people
know
like
that
Amaranth
I think
and
they're dead no
higher
matter
use
what.
it.
Like, you either play favoritism until everyone hates your site, or you ban all the cam girls and then you have no revenue anymore.
All they had to do was release Twitch After Dark.
Yeah, just
It's
make
all
an
you had to
18 plus
do.
site. Boom.
All you had to do. I would have
I have no problems with that.
I would have 100% put this show on there. Do not fucking moderate anything that's on there. Anything that's not, oh, I'm gonna showcase this movie. No
Mhm.
content ID, I understand completely. Any fucking
Illegal
language,
shit.
let it be. Yes.
Like, I just
Everything
make it a
other
campsite.
Yeah. But allow it to be video games. Allow it to be the comfort of those two things molding
Mhm.
together, which is what Twitch should have been from day
Yo,
one.
give me my nude Fallout mod and let me play it on Twitch 18 plus.
Exactly. Why can't you? Like legitimately, why can't you? If it's created for the game, there should not
Yeah.
be any games that are banned on Twitch, but there is.
Because of ads. Because like advertisers will pull from regular Twitch if there's that association with 18 plus.
But did you know that there are legitimate fucking ads that get put on this show even from Spreaker that will be like, "Do you want suggestive ads placed on your content?" The only
Oh,
one
I
I
know.
unclick is fucking tobacco. It gives you tobacco, it gives you alcohol, it gives you pregnancy, it gives you sexuality. Yes, all of the things. No tobacco. Fuck cigarettes. It's disgusting.
Well, it's just those optics where it's just like the whole like South Park boycott thing back in the 90s, or the moral outrage. Like there's the risk of getting canceled. There's the brand affiliation. Even though it's all BS, no one cares, no one matters. You're still going to get those ads anyways. So like everything's fucked.
Well, everybody doesn't want to see that number of worth go down, regardless if it comes
Yeah.
back. Bud Light still hasn't recovered. Bud Light is still a joke, and Bud Light is still gone.
I
You want
love
to know
it.
why they're still gone? Because nobody gives a fuck anymore. You got made into a joke, and nobody talks about you anymore. That company, that entire brand, that brand that you built is gone. It had to get swapped to Bush, which that's now trying to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like you killed an entire brand just by affiliating with one wrong person. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's crazy to look at these things
Yeah.
because
And also there's a whole like thing about Twitch where it's like, well, there's kids that use the site. It's a 13 plus site. So they know that they're getting that demographic, which is also valuable in its own way, and all the numbers and it all gets skewed. So if they shift to 18 plus, they lose where that money's coming from. And also the way that people breaking down where, well, mom credit card into Twitch bits, she doesn't know where that's going. She doesn't know that's actually going to fund some cam girl. So like that goes away at the 18 plus.
Absolutely. And then you don't have people like Zoe Berger who absolutely blow up overnight because they shake their ass every time they die in Call of Duty. So how many people are genuinely affected?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's like 6 different people that are affected, and let's not do this. And the 13-year-old that shouldn't be watching cam girls anyway is the only one that's affected if we don't fucking do Twitch after dark. Where the fuck is this trade-off? Like, it's not complicated. It's not fucking rocket science. Why the fuck was this not done?
Yeah.
The fact that and as we saw legitimate degenerate shit on YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
Legitimate degenerate shit. And it's growing. It grows every single day because YouTube does not give a fuck.
I brought that up with the whole DMCA. It's like, I have not seen an actual valid DMCA thing because the whole thing was like, oh, violating DMCA is a $60,000 fine. No, YouTube just slaps YouTube Kids and you're fine. There was actually no risk whatsoever. And 90% of Pokemon, Fortnite, Roblox gaming content violates DMCA, not YouTube Kids, farming them. Fuck, man.
And it's fucked up. You want to know what you used to have to do? You used to have to email the companies in order to get copyright availability. That's what you're supposed to do. I have an email still from Call of Duty. So that way the music and the licensing for all of the assets are available. Why? Because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to email them and be like, is this available for me to use uniquely?
Bro, Sega just deleted people back in 2011.
I did that, I believe, in Call of Duty Ghost. It was, is this available? Can I use this? Can I use the imaging? Because legally, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to use it, and you're not supposed to change it.
Yeah.
If you change that art, that is not your art. That is their art, and you defaced it. Do we want to go directly by the rule? Yeah.
Like, Nintendo, the law didn't change. Nintendo said, oh, it looks bad if people get mad at us, so...
Nintendo legitimately was doing the right thing by holding their copyrights.
Yeah, but saying we have to review your video after 3 days and you're behind on it, but else you don't get it.
Were they doing everything appropriately? No, but they actually were trying to do it right. They were trying to hold their copyrights. It didn't fucking work out very well. And now we're seeing that with Palworld. They could probably rip off a complete model and most people wouldn't give a fuck. They legitimately probably could at this point. It's sad. It's sad because as a whole, the way that YouTube and content is going, it's just going to fall apart. It's just going to turn into everybody kind of creating content.
It already has. We're in dead internet. We just haven't realized it's kicked yet.
No, man. I think a resurgence is about to blow up. As stupid as that sounds.
Yeah, that's retarded Zach finally making his appearance on the show.
Retarded Zach finally making his appearance? No, I think honestly,
you're wrong.
As everybody comes to the internet,
I will now ruin this podcast over that take of you're wrong. Every time you open your mouth, you're wrong. It's over. That is how jaded I am as a creator. I get dislike botted. Yeah, I get dislike botted. I have contacted YouTube support. They've not looked me, but they've said like this is not botting. I'm like, bro, that is all from some fucking PC in Chile giving me 5,000 dislikes in 2 minutes, and you're saying that's organic, and there's no such thing as dislike botting on your platform. And then just all the other stuff, and then ignoring DMCA.
With that, I completely agree. With that shit, I completely agree. We need a different platform that is going to be available and acceptable to the terms of the creator, not the terms of the viewer, which is what I kind of thought Rumble was going to be. Rumble still has a big chance to kind of grow and explode, as I'm still going to call this. Twitter buys it when it starts releasing its fucking full-on video platform for everybody. We're seeing this. We're seeing this with people with fucking Mr. Beast now releasing videos on X. You see this with a lot of creators releasing videos on X and making fucking bank. He made $250,000 by releasing one video on Twitter.
Yeah. Interesting. I thought Rumble would maybe be too expensive because it is publicly traded. Rumble's worth 1.5 billion. Twitter loses that in a month. Elon buys it, costs absolutely nothing. Another what percentage is that? Like 4% of Twitter just added into Rumble, and then yeah, he can actually do it. Craziest theory. I'm kind of jaded on Rumble because like I got raided by the CEO and I fumbled it a bit and I was trying to like get those contacts back and I never heard back. I'm like, just give me the Rumble bag and I'll start streaming and putting all my content there exclusively.
Exactly.
They're not offering me the bag, so I pissed at them. I'm like,
What
fuck
What's
off.
interesting is they allow payment for views that are on YouTube.
Mhm.
My dogs are fucking going retarded today because a car is driving past. I hate the fucking snow. They get so fucking loud because of this
Yeah.
shit.
And like all these other
Um,
people, they don't respect the platform. They just take the bag. I'm like, no, I will respect. I will do everything. Please respond. And then they don't. I'm like, come on, I'm worth it. I can provide so much value. So
like
I just hate everyone.
they've become a network on YouTube, and I don't think a lot of people fully grasp that. They pay you for your views on YouTube as long as you transport your videos over from YouTube to Rumble. The
Mhm.
thing is they don't promote any of the videos that get transported from YouTube to Rumble. They do not get the eyes that normal videos get. They
Yeah,
do not
that's why
get
they have the
dropped.
Rumble exclusivity in their little partner program.
Yep. It's interesting. It's interesting to see that availability because it doesn't get pushed the same way everything does. If you manually upload it to Rumble, all of a sudden everything kind of gets okay.
Yep.
It's weird. It's honestly weird where you have that availability for it just to kind of get fucked up and get affected because everything is affected. You're getting paid now by Rumble. Okay, why? What is available because you're uploading to Rumble and you accept them to be able to manage your channel and transfer videos over. Why aren't those getting eyes? Because if they're paying you on them, you would expect them to double up as many views as they possibly can. But they don't. It's weird.
See, that's also why I don't have faith for like a resurgence where it just seems like they're doing venture capital gambling that doesn't quite make enough sense to come through. Because like
That's why I
also,
think the Twitter thing makes a lot of sense.
yeah, like Twitter's where it actually comes through because then Elon he's winning back over the
And he has the
advertisers that
eyes.
boycotted.
He has the eyes. He flipped them the bird and he got
Hmm.
the eyes back just by doing it.
Yeah, because every other advertiser's like, well, if we pull, they always cave to us. Now it's like, oh, wait, if we're not advertising, we're not making money. Shit, they found out the secret, even though everyone's known the secret for ever. Where it's like, yeah, the boycotts never worked. That doesn't make sense. Get woke, go broke. No, it's like you need people to see your product, or else they immediately forget about it. That's how YouTube figured it out. They move the sub box over to where someone's never going to click it again. They pull you from the homepage, and then you get forgotten about, just like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Exactly. And it's not complicated to see it. Guess what? The reason that people survived getting canceled is they never shut up, they never gave a fuck, and they kept going.
Hmm.
That's why some people still have sponsors. That's why some people are still accepted by the community. Guess what? They didn't give a fuck.
I still
When you
got
have
canceled.
people, well, yeah, but you also got removed at a time when you didn't have Twitter. You couldn't keep talking. If you get
Mm.
removed today compared to in
I was canceled before
2016,
Twitter removed me.
I know, but
Hmm.
with eyeball wise, like if
Yeah.
you have Twitter growing at the same rate YouTube is, and then you're cut off at YouTube, your Twitter still can grow as long
No,
as you're
Twitter
not
had me
shadow banned.
blacklisted too for the same things.
Exactly. That's my point. So if you have a Elon Twitter at that point,
Yeah.
you keep growing, you keep getting louder, you keep becoming that
Yeah, I think
voice.
yeah, modern like if I started like 3 years ago and then everything kind of like went on the same trajectory, couldn't get canceled now. But I
That
got
that's why I've told you so explicitly, like this kind of outlet of you being able to articulate yourself and explore thought and kind of explode with what you're an intelligent dude, obviously. You break down a game that most people don't see in the same way you do, which is exactly like that kid that fucking breaks down
yeah.
Tetris.
That's why
Like
I'm like the best Pokemon creators. Like I solve it in different ways. And also my Lego Fortnite popped off because everyone's an idiot. Every content creator is actually a fraud that can't exist without cheats, hacks, faking, and all that stuff. So a new game comes out with no pre-release, like Lego Fortnite dropped. No one had access to it early. No one already had the cheats preloaded, like with Pokemon,
mhm.
where the game's pirated 2 weeks before release. So I'm the only motherfucker that's competent enough to play Lego Fortnite and figure out how to make content about that. That's just how
Exactly.
shit everything
Like
is right now.
you seem a lot like me
Palworld,
where
same thing on Palworld. Palworld gave a couple of creators early access. I beat all of them with less time.
the idea of, okay, here's a game releases today. You are probably one of the best in that game the second that you pick it up and you fully figure it out. I'm best in Call of Duty for the first 4 or 5 months that the game's out, because I learn the maps, I learn everything about the game, and I am able to play every single gun that I play in the game. It just, I'm better than most people. I
Yeah.
learn it fast.
Yeah,
And
I'm
the
just a
and the
good
reason that,
gamer.
yeah, exactly. Like, will I fall off towards the end of the game because I don't put in as much time? Absolutely. But guess what? It's because I don't put in the time anymore because I don't care, because I was already better than you.
And also, people will like hyper optimize meta sweat, like the actual objectively best thing, but then you just
Yep.
reject it where it's like, no, it can't be my tech, my ideas. So like you're always
And
under it.
and
That's late stage.
the way that you look at things, I've seen quite a few comments of people being like, "Oh, well, he's narcissistic because he says he's the best in the world at Pokemon." First off, you dipshits, I'm gonna call every single one of you out right fucking here. Marketing yourself as something and repeating it is fucking marketing. That does not mean that he's egotistical and thinks that of himself. Can he think that of himself? Absolutely. But that doesn't fucking make you narcissistic. It makes you a good fucking businessman, you fucking dipshit.
I don't
That
even do
is
it
how
for
you do
business.
business. But as a whole, like, if you didn't
Yeah.
market yourself as anything, you fail at your job. This is your job. If
Yeah.
you didn't say, I'm the best Pokemon player in the world, actually, there are a handful of people, some of them fucking faked it, that have that
Some all.
availability. I'm just giving some credibility because I understand there are a handful of people in that circle, and you are one of them. Obviously, you are. You understand the game at a different level than a lot of people do. So, in a whole, if you look at that thing, if you made it so way, every single Pokemon in that box was fucking handed to you, and you had to make a fucking team out of it, you are probably in the top 5 if you put 20 people into that tournament. You just are. And then it comes down to RNG and who fucking falls first. It just does.
Yeah. And also matchups, like the person that has the hardest counter that you will lose 9 times out of 10, no matter how well you play, they get eliminated in that earlier round. You walk it in.
No, but if everybody's given the same, 60
Yeah.
Pokemon, and you have
I
to
mean, like their
build.
composition, just from their randomness and their
Yeah,
take on the game,
exactly.
like there's always going to be like the hard counters.
Well, you are always one of those bulky, I'm just gonna toxic stall you, I'm gonna fuck you up in a
Yeah.
way you don't expect kind of player. If they don't play the normal fucking way, they're gonna fuck with you. They just are. But as a whole, like, it's interesting because you brand yourself, I'm the best Pokemon player in the world. At least one of them. I break the game down in a way most people don't see. That's why your videos pop to begin with. That's the reason why you were able to grow. So as a whole, if you look at that thing, that is why. That's why people fucking pay attention. You dipshits. It's because the validity to what you're saying is there.
Yeah.
The
And
the
also
people,
my
although they've
yeah.
hacked and they've done fucked up things, that doesn't mean that their knowledge is wrong. It just means that they've done the wrong things to get the knowledge, or do things in a different way and achieve at a better level. That doesn't mean that you're any less incompetent than they are. You might actually be more competent because you wouldn't have fucked up in the gen way that they did.
And adding on to that, also like the people calling narcissism and stuff, it's like these insecure people that only know hate and anger, and they have like no faith in themselves. Where it's like, oh, you're just not confident. I know I'm the
Mhm.
best. I have that confidence. I can prove it when I need to. Where it's just like, oh, what's that? I got 16th on the world ladder where there's 300,000 people playing. Point like I'm at like minimum 0.1%, like top 0.1%
Mhm.
always. And then like you have your peaks and your troughs and ever. But then
And
here's where
confidence is not narcissism.
yeah, exactly. But that's what these people have no confidence. They're too insecure and they only know hate. So they can't distinguish it because they have
Well,
so little faith in themselves. But also then here's where I prove I'm the best because I've shown that everyone else is a cheater. So you
yeah.
disqualify them for steroids. It's only me.
Well, that's the thing. And I know Pokemon's slightly different than this, but
Yeah.
turning it back to the real world for a second, if a UFC fighter uses steroids, how much does that impact them? I don't know. I don't watch UFC all the time. Do I enjoy some of it? Absolutely. But I don't fucking watch it every single day. But as a whole, you watch baseball, and you see Barry Bonds pop off 73 home runs
Mhm.
in
That
a
never
year,
happened
or
before. Same thing with
you
Sammy
want
Sosa and Mark McGwire. Wait a second. Why in the 90s did these records get shot to the moon?
you may think that that's steroids. It's not. Steroids doesn't teach you hand-eye coordination. They hit that ball at the specific time when it was supposed to happen. Did they hit it farther? Absolutely, but people are hitting it even farther now. Are you saying steroids are still a problem when they're looked at the most? I don't think so. So as a whole, then I would say that you have to break down the game at a different level. If you removed every single one of Barry Bonds' home runs, he is still a better hitter than David Ortiz, statistically, for on-base percentage.
I've
So
seen
if
the
you removed
video Barry Bonds without a bat.
if you've removed every single one of his home runs and turned them into an out, he's a better hitter than one of the hitters during our generation growing up. Considered one of the best power hitters during that age, just based off of on base percentage. It's crazy because so many people want to point to steroids or overinflation. With Pokemon
I
being
think steroids still
statistically
have a
different,
huge effect.
that's what I was going to say. With Pokemon being statistically different and it being statistically perfect and everything else, and you not being able to change that on certain Pokemon, that is where your argument of this is steroids, this is the overinflation of something not being different, not being correct. That's where your argument is as a whole. It's these numbers are different than the available numbers to me, or just time. If I
Yeah.
want to get 31s everywhere, as a whole, that takes a shit ton of fucking time, especially in Gen 5, let alone now. I know it's shorter, but as a whole, it just gets fucked up. So then everything comes down to how does it math? And if it maths incorrectly, you get fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why your stand of this is fucked because it's steroids actually does make more sense. It's more like UFC than baseball.
Yeah. I think there is there needs to be more actual looking into the effect of steroids before talking about it, which is hard to do on the fly and in a show like this. 'Cause I'm pretty sure wouldn't steroids increase your reaction time though? Like yes, Barry Bonds naturally talented. So it's like if you have
So
a good baseline to make better
exactly.
with steroids.
So obviously with having Kyler around and stuff like that, I kind of have a question. I've talked to him a little bit about it, and I've heard their stories with Derek and stuff like that. There are people that respond to HGH and stuff at a different level.
Mhm.
But does that psychologically change you? And it doesn't. It might psychologically change you to where you're more confident because you look in the way that you want to look and you're doing the things that you want to do and you're achieving at a level that you want to. But that's more pseudoscience and stuff like that. It would affect more muscular mass and stuff like that, or the density or the availability of power. But how much power or speed can you put into a swing? An arm punch will be completely different. That would get affected because it's going to be more one to one. But if you're swinging a baseball bat, that's going to be different. There's going to be an outcome of power that is just not available. But that confidence of you walking in that box and achieving at a level that's never been seen before, that confidence is going to be there.
Now the problem is also because steroids are such a hot topic for baseball and also have the potential negative side effects on the body. People don't run the scientific studies to actually figure out all of these things.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Because
then
what they need to do is they need to take two very similar college players, take one that wants to throw away his career, take steroids, and then they compare them and actually see the difference. Those studies don't happen. We
but
don't know
but
what
the
happens.
comparison of two players doesn't affect or change the way that you can see the answer either.
Yeah.
The way that you affect and see the answer is you have the same exact player, the same exact person,
Mhm.
because everybody's
You
going
can't.
to respond differently. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible at that point because you don't know what their career would have been without them. And I think that's like the same exact argument against plastic surgery and stuff like that. Oh, well, this 50-year-old got plastic surgery. This 50-year-old did this. This 50-year-old did that. You don't know what the fuck they would have looked like without that plastic surgery. Could they have been a shitbag and their entire face droop and, they're not getting roles anymore. They're not working anymore. Or now they look like a mouse and they look plastic and they look fake. Is that necessarily worse or is it just different from where they would have been? And as a whole, who the fuck knows? Once again, who the fuck knows? It's just all different. It's all possibility. It's all probability of how does this work through all the way through. And I just don't think that that's available anymore. I don't think that we're going to allow steroids in sports anymore because they've just been demonized to a way that isn't affectable. Everybody has that look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Where, steroids in baseball would make the game fucking interesting.
Well, that's the same argument for UFC.
UFC, you're actually traumatizing or hurting somebody, though. So,
yeah, but the argument is like, oh, well, if everyone was on steroids, that means it levels the playing field from people cheating.
Like, to me, so do you think steroids in baseball? I use baseball because it isn't me versus you. It's a timing thing and stuff like that. Do you feel like taking any steroids is cheating?
Yeah, it's against the rules and it gives you an advantage.
Not against the rules, just as a whole. Is it cheating?
Well, that's how like rules work.
I understand arbitrarily. I'm saying like as a whole though, like if we're setting a moral standard for baseball or a moral standard for games where it's basketball and you might be slightly more explosive.
Okay. Oh, so you're saying like hypothetically, there's no rules against steroids.
If there's no rules against steroids, would you rather there be some people on them, some people off of them, or should it be frowned upon always?
Well, I mean, my stance is the same in Pokemon. Like, if it's not against the rules, then it's fine.
So to me, in sports that you are not hitting somebody, why is there a negative? There just isn't. But to me, there's also difference in things that we've seen as well. We've seen A-Rod suspended for 60 games. We've seen players that literally have barely made the league suspended for 60 games. Andy Pettitte took HGH to heal an elbow and heal a knee during the offseason, but that was flagged in the same exact way, and he was suspended for 60 games. Those aren't the same. Healing is not the same. You are demanded to put together a contract that is hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. How is that unacceptable to get yourself healed and back together before the season starts? I don't see that as a negative in the same way.
Yeah.
Cheating in the game.
The difference is like using it for healing versus using it for performance enhancement.
Yeah. HGH is not fucking anabolic. It's just not the same thing. You're regrowing, you're healing, you're putting bones back together. It just affects your body in a different way. So if you're not seeing crazy muscle mass difference and you're seeing a slightly higher testosterone level, what is the difference? And I know neither one of us have that answer, but to me, those answers are much, much different. I just look at those things as a much, much different answer. I don't understand where Andy Pettitte gets suspended in the same exact way other people do for actually cheating the game in the way they're saying is cheating. I just don't see those things. I don't know. It's just fucking weird to me. It just honestly is. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because cheating is always cheating, and I understand that.
Yeah,
but at some point, like if you're gonna be held accountable for those availabilities to be there and be able to do your job, and you can stand up and say, hey, I'm not okay to keep going right now, I need a break. What is it? Should you take a break or should you not? You have to fulfill the contract, so that means I'm hurting myself to fulfill a contract. At what point is this acceptable now? Because then you're getting into the gray area of that everything gets fucky. You have investments of millions and millions of dollars of people that just can't fucking perform to the level they told you they could perform at. At what point is that acceptable? I don't know. It's just a weird ass fucking train of thought. So I've been looking at this shit for a little bit now, where you go through and you look at the shower thoughts on fucking Reddit and shit. And I saw this one that really kind of made me giggle really fucking hard. And it was a meme. And it said, what is he thinking about? He's probably thinking about other females. And a dude's sitting there in his hands. He's like, oh, fuck. A fire truck isn't a fire truck. It's actually a water truck. And I'm like, that is the most logical fucking thought that I've had in a very, very long fucking time, because it is a water truck. Is that the first thing that comes to your head where we're like, we call the thing the opposite of what it actually is?
I've seen
the problem
a lot
that
of posts like that, so I don't know if that's an organic thought of mine anymore or influenced by the memes.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just sell it as yours. Fuck it.
Well, no, I mean, it's like on this philosophical, like, wait a second, what does that mean? I don't know. Social media is giving me that brain rot, but it is one of those things where, like, it is a water truck. It delivers the water to put out the fire. And there's like a dozen other examples I've seen with like shower thoughts.
The other one that I love, and I saw this last night on a fucking short, was did you know there's 2 days in your life that are not filled? They're not 24 hours.
Day you're born, day you die.
Yep. And I loved that they just left it at that. They let you figure it out. I was like, oh, that's a good one. I like that because it's like every other day of your life is filled and you don't know if it's going to be filled yet or not. You don't know if it's going to be a full day. You don't know. It's really rather interesting if you look at it like that.
One day you choose your default response to thank you and you just stick with it.
Yep. Anytime. That is always
My
the answer.
pleasure.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a few times from you. Anytime after a 2-hour-long conversation about YouTube and how to do this shit. Anytime.
Yeah. Never thought about this before, but men can pee sideways.
Mm-hmm. You've never seen that? You've never seen the meme of how you pee and how you poop? And they'll sit there and put like 15 different illogical ways to pee. And then you're like, wait, no. As a dude, you actually can do all of those. Why the fuck? Who the fuck thought of this? And one of them's like the Superman of them laying sideways on top of the toilet, and one's doing a handstand. Yeah. Oh man, that shit's so fucking weird. I fucking love shower thoughts. It's one of the greatest fucking things in the world. I don't know.
It looks like the quality of shower
shit is
thoughts
so
has like,
illogical
deteriorated
and
though.
They
Front
don't.
page pretty weak.
You have a better chance of becoming a multimillionaire by correctly predicting the color of a roulette ball, and it'll land on 23 times than using a lottery ticket. If that math actually maths, that's fucking insane.
There's no way, because like that's 50 to the power of 23. Or actually, no, it'd only be coin flips. Because I guess they're thinking like red black. I thought it's
50,
like, oh, bet 5,000 on just.
It's not 50-50. It would be like 48-48, but whatever. Yeah. Because there is the greens.
So actually 2 to the power of 23 less than, 56 to the power of 6.
Yeah. It's crazy. The age requirement to adopt a child in the United States is 25, but the minimum marriage age in 2 states is 14. So some people can marry their children before they adopt them. That's fucking disgusting. Red meat is named after the color of uncooked meat, while white meat is named after the color of the cooked meat.
That's the fire truck shit.
What the fuck?
But like I said, I think the quality's dropped off because you just scroll a little bit and then everything's like 30 upvotes. We don't have peak internet anymore.
No, well, all of the thoughts have been thought.
Post that right now.
Yeah, exactly. Every single unique thought you feel like you've had, they've happened 15 times.
What % of shower thoughts have already been thought and posted here?
Yep. When you're a kid, you don't realize you're watching your mom and dad grow up.
That's true. I think about that a lot recently. When like as I'm growing up, I'm like, wow, like I had a toothache, and I was just like, yeah, my parents having a toothache, and then kind of treating me not the best because they're cooked, they're done. Same thing. Where it's like, oh man, my mom took a lot of naps. It's like, yeah, that's what happens when you get old, and then your back hurts, and if you're stuck with that pain for a couple days, you're just shitty to everyone, and you already have the burden of sleeplessness and having a kid, and you know this because you're a father. So it's like, oh. Yeah, it's hard to be your best when you're just 30 and single, let alone with a kid.
No, you just get fucking degraded and degraded and degraded. Dads probably bond with dogs so much because in our society, men don't get shown a lot of affection, but dogs give a ton of affection regardless.
Now that dude's got problems. I don't think he hit on anything special there.
You don't think so?
No.
I think a lot of dudes, especially the ones that end up coming from single mother households, they're used to getting that unrequited love, so they expect that from every single relationship they're in, and they don't get it, so they end up looking for somebody like their mom, and it becomes an abusive relationship, and they don't get cared about in the same way that most people do.
Yeah, but I don't think like the dog is the like where that projection goes, and it's just like, that's why guys, because they never felt love like dogs so much.
No, but them getting the love would make sense. which is what I think that they're saying, but they said it incorrectly.
See, I went by the letter of what they said instead of the potential spirit of what they
Yeah.
said.
Girls don't compliment guys because they're likely to take it in non-platonically. Guys take it non-platonically because it happens so infrequently we don't know how to handle it. Yeah, exactly.
I love that meme where just like a guy will tell you every compliment he's ever had because it'll just stick.
Yeah, and there will be 5 of them. That's all it is.
Bro, this happened to me when I actually, so that toothache, I ended up getting my tooth pulled back in December, and it sucked, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I'm like, oh man, I'm getting a tooth pulled. I'm like permanently
Yeah.
losing this. It's very
It
back tooth.
scares you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was like, no, little extra bleeding, clot formed. I was good in a week and a half, and it only cost $400. I was like, oh, I thought it was bankrupt. I thought like my mouth is now fucked. This is a sign of bad dental hygiene. No, just chipped in the back.
No, it happens.
Yeah,
The
happens.
sentence, don't objectify women, has women as the object of the sentence.
That's fucked. But going back to that, so yeah, I went to the grocery store. So one like the few times I leave my cave, and I was like, they didn't even narc me up either. They sent me home with like 6 Advil, and they were like, take 4. So I wasn't even like feeling any weird, but I saw like this stuff in my mouth, and then the cashier was like, "Yo, I like your fit," because I was wearing my like the thing I've had where I do the sleeveless jacket with my Pokemon shirt underneath and my rave trip pants. And then girl was just like your fit. And I'm like, that's going to stick for a while.
Yep. No, it's always weird because it's always the weird ones that kind of stick out. You can pull out a fucking 60-year-old lady that said you look cute or you have chubby cheeks, probably. Garen fucking Pete. Every
When
dude
I was
does.
when I was fishing at the lake, this one like older lady, 60s or something, she was just like, yo, you're a pretty cool dude. Like, I like the way your boat looks. You have style out on the lake. You don't look like these homeless, grumpy old men and stuff. And then struck up a conversation about it. And then, not that I was flirting or anything, but
no, it just takes you off guard.
yeah,
You get all giddy because you're like, oh fuck.
I'm trying to remember the quote that she said, like a number like 30, and I think I said something like, "Oh, your daughter," like one of those things where like plays down their age, and then like she went, "Oh," a cute interaction with just some random old lady because it was just stylish and actually having a human interaction.
No, and with being 6'5", those things become
no,
much more
okay.
exaggerated.
Okay, so it was actually like almost like a boomer old school kind of things where you get extra friendly with people where it's like, "Oh, come over, my I think the quote was, "Oh, come over. The alarm code is 1987." And I was like, "Oh, your age or something, or like your daughter's age." So like to kind of like play on those numbers, and so like just those cute interactions.
Oh, absolutely. So the other day, me and my daughter were walking through Walmart, and we're walking through the soda and chip aisle, as everybody fucking does. You got to grab your drinks every now and then. And this fucking old lady stops. She's like, "You, can I use your height for a second? You're usable in this way." I'm like, "Wait, what?" She's like, "Yeah, see those chips up there, that family-sized bag of Doritos? Can you hand me those?" I said, "Ma'am, there's 3 shelves of." She said, "Thank you." Like, just logic. It's just, "Oh, you're usable because you have height." And I'm like, "What the fuck is this? When did my height become the first thing that's usable?" And that's hilarious to me. But in the anime, Ash Ketchum was supposed to be a huge Pokemon fan before he left for his journey. But every time he sees a different kind of Pokemon, he has to pull out his Pokédex because he doesn't know what it is. Ash Ketchum was a poser before he left on his journey.
I don't like theories and stupidity like that because like, and
But it
then
makes sense.
it does, but then at the end of the day, it's like the writers are just doing it. It's like plot armor. There's no point theorizing, breaking down that stupidity. I just like Pokemon too much to deal with nonsense.
A night before a day off is more satisfying than the actual day off.
True.
Stanley's funeral is going to be a reverse cameo where all the superheroes appear in the background of his story.
That makes me sad.
Yeah. The internet has both almost killed off the postal service with email and then made it more needed than ever with online delivery.
True. Facts.
Yep. If Eminem's mom wanted to, she could probably make a good amount of selling her own spaghetti sauce. Funnily enough, he has now released a entire fucking restaurant called Mom Spaghetti.
I feel like that dude needs to catch up with what's going on out there.
Oh, that was
still
4
going on
years
this?
ago.
Like how?
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
so you went to top?
Yeah, top all time. I dropped the stories. I figured whenever you send me one or give me a number.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm like, why'd you send me the stories if we're just talking shower thoughts?
I just figured it was first apartment. Okay. I'll end shower thoughts with this one. Both sexes can fuck a Pringles can, but neither can do it well.
I'm about to say, I'm like, how does the other one do the Pringles? Okay, that makes sense. Not too well.
Yeah, neither one can do it well.
I feel like that's true of
you can do
90% of objects.
No, half
Such
of the objects that you're
as
thinking of, half of the objects you're thinking of would be very, very uncomfortable for us. No, it's weird. So when you got your first apartment, were you helped and stuff beforehand? Were you given things to kind of just get yourself started, or did you have to completely self-start things yourself? Go into a group of
I've
like
told this
we
story a
have
lot. I don't
friends.
remember if it was on this show or a different
We might have
podcast.
touched on it. I'm just kind of going into it.
Oh no, I think I was talking with someone else and I was like telling them about my up and coming. So I don't think I've talked about it as much here. So I guess keep with the show. We'll make it quick. But I got some help, but it was from a friend, and he's like, "Yo, my uncle lives in Seattle, and I know you want to live there, so I can like get you all acquainted and hooked up there." And also, they want to come out here to go to college, so they were kind of like following me a couple months behind. So everything was just kind of getting worked up and worked out, and it was kind of smooth in that way, at least. But then turns out they weren't paying rent, and the place got they were paying rent, but the person that owned the house wasn't paying, so it got foreclosed on both of us. And then I had to find like my first apartment on my own. So I went to Craigslist and I found some military dude out here who was sharing his military housing for $200 a month, utilities included, 2011.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
So when my first apartment is a weird answer because there's two, just like you. There was after my oldest daughter was born, I was still in high school. I finished high school. I graduated, and literally probably like a week after, my parents left. They purchased one of my grandparents' trailers and they moved to that. So they left us the apartment. They're like, we're all being evicted from here. Just live out whatever you're able to. You have court at this date for you being emancipated, Zach. Just stay here. The bills will be on until they're no longer turned on when you get evicted. Like, okay, that's fine. So I was able to live in the house that I grew up in for like 6 more months than everybody else did, which was cool because it was like we had a fucking 3-bedroom, half of a house to ourselves as our first apartment.
You have like your starter first place.
Yeah, which is fucking gigantic. What the fuck is this? Like
mine? So the thing that got like foreclosed on, it was a shed that I can only describe as stapled onto the side of a house. No water, no bathroom, no heat. It was just what are they called? Utilities or efficiencies. It was effectively like a detached efficiency on a house with no bathroom. Even if I wanted to use the bathroom, I had to go to the back, and their like lock was really shitty and stuck, and their door was stuck. So
yeah, to go into the outhouse. Right? Yeah.
And then 3 a.m, I don't want to bother them, so you're just trying. So that was fucked. No heat. Seattle winter. I turned on the toaster on my plastic folding table. That's how I kept warm at night. And then for the most part, I just said fucking pissed in a bottle and then poured it outside.
Yeah,
I was never happier. That was like the first time I lived on my own. Never happier. I go down to Goodwill, buy some like a GameCube for $8, buy some new Smash games, and then just play.
Oh, it was nice because we could absolutely just have. At that point, we had a very, very open household anyway, because when my parents lived there, the door was allowed to be open to like certain people all times of the night and everything else. And until we went to bed, the door was unlocked. Everything was available.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. It was a very, very weird way to live. Yeah, go ahead.
I can listen to you for the headset, so keep monologuing.
Yep. So with all of that said and everything else, we kind of just worked on having a very, very kind of odd situation at that point. We were able to have game nights every single night of the week and stuff. And having a 3-bedroom fucking apartment, you can just figure out whatever room you want to hang out in and then not fucking interrupt anybody. It was a 3-bedroom apartment with 2 fucking living rooms, 2 fucking bathrooms, and everything else. And at the point when you're fucking 3 people, you don't need that much fucking space. That's like at the point where you're meeting, actual living costs. Then we ended up having to move in with her parents at the time, and after court of me being emancipated and everything else, and being looked at by my father, who didn't take care of me a day in his life, look at me and tell me, why was this any of my job? He already has a kid. I don't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck day one. Then we got to be given our first apartment, and her mom decided to put down, I believe, first months and security, so that way we could move in and stuff. And it was weird because it ended up being full circle. We moved home to where I grew up. So my grandparents lived like 3 houses down from where we moved in, which was kind of cool. It was like full circle of where I grew up to where I was letting my kid grow up, which was interesting to me. But they already moved on and everything else. But we had a cycle of, I know the people that are around. I kind of know the idea of who's around, and you
Yeah, that
kind of
sounds
already
great.
have that community. It was a 3-bedroom trailer with a 3-bedroom, 1-bath trailer. And it was all kind of redone on the inside, but everything on the outside was kind of shit. So it had like 2 enclosed porches that were freezing cold still, because for some reason, when you make an enclosed porch, you don't put in heating
But like
or
kind of big
electrical.
manufactured home trailer. Is it 3-bed?
No,
No.
it was like a single wide that was like
Oh, okay.
60 by 17. It was not necessarily huge, but it's a 3-bedroom. You got
Yeah.
2 bedrooms that are like 8 by 8s. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, because I've seen some like
Um,
really neat manufactured homes, but okay.
oh, no. When you get into the modulars instead of trailers, they get
Yeah.
like mind-blowingly nice. They're not trailers anymore, and
Yeah,
everybody
exactly.
still
So
calls
like
them
I'm like, is this
trailers.
a mod I was about to say, is this a
No,
modular home or is this a trailer?
this was
It's
like
trailer. Noted.
1970s trailer. So
Yeah.
like shitty. Like you bounce into the wall and you can hear the foam spring back. Shitty.
Mhm.
Um so we lived there for probably about like 8 months total. We moved in like January. No, 10 months, because we moved out October 31st. We started moving out on fucking Halloween. And we went through fucking hell living there.
Dang.
So in that apartment, my then girlfriend attempted suicide by swallowing a whole bottle of pills
Always fun.
after my son was born. That was a fucking blast. Then my mom gets thrown out of the house that she purchased because she didn't feel like paying the lot rent on the trailer that she purchased. So then she ends up getting a different apartment. And then we end up getting an eviction notice after we went to my mom's apartment for the first time. And that's where the cool story comes for the first apartment. We had in our lease, for some reason, probably because we were 18, that they were legally allowed to come into our property as long as they gave us some sort of notification. They wanted to inspect the house because it was their parents' trailer before ours. I guess they both passed away or whatever. They wanted to make sure that their 1970s trailer was still up to the level that they
Holding
made
that
it to.
property value,
Yeah,
the
they got to
investment
hold
fund,
that property
the
value of,
retirement fund right
yeah.
there.
He still drove a 1986 Corvette. You know, the shitty one that nobody wants, that body style. I looked at him a couple times. I was like, you could have bought the generation before this or the generation after this and made hundreds of thousands of dollars. You bought the one that was shit.
You're the kind of person that goes, that.
You made the shitty choices in every single place of your life. And I thought that was hilarious to me. So, and funnily enough, the lady of the relationship, because it was both of them, was a wine aficionado, drank bottles and bottles of wine every single weekend. But I knew this lady from my childhood. She was my lunch age. She came and hung out and was like very kind, made sure that I ate my peanut butter and jelly, and made sure that I had $1 to get a snack every day. That was the chick that broke into my house and said that she wanted to fist fight my girlfriend at the time because she's a mentally unstable fucking crazy person. So we came home from my mom's house, And as we're driving up the driveway, they're running up to my mom's car, banging on the window because they wanted to fist fight my 18-year-old girlfriend at the time because she called her a cunt and said that she's being nasty because she called us drunk because they didn't receive the rent check yet on October 31st for November. So then we walk into our house, we get the kids inside because, that's the first thing you secure. We lock the door. This bitch opens up our front porch door, walks in. That is breaking and entering. And then walks in, unlocks our fucking apartment door and just walks into the living room and says, "This house is atrocious. You have 3 days to get out." And because it was in our lease that they're allowed to inspect our home whenever the fuck they felt like, they just were allowed to. They just were allowed to do whatever the fuck they wanted at that point of, we're
Wouldn't that
just
just
going
be
to
like an
do this.
invalid lease, but also you're 18, so fuck actually having that be reviewed and be like, wait, they're doing the illegal shit.
So that's where it gets interesting. So we ended up having to go to court, as all fucking evictions do. I knew my rights because I was evicted from enough places beforehand. Obviously, with the first apartment, you get used to it. So I was like, you know what? No, we're going to sit. So we sat until October 31st. And that's when our court date was. We went to court, took the kids out trick-or-treating, started packing. But they're like, yeah. So we go up to the judge. He's like, so what are you suing them for, sir? He said, well, 6 months rent, a full entire fuel tank worth of fuel and everything else. He's like, also, they didn't give us a security, which was bullshit. It was given to them already. So they start breaking this down. So where is the proof that they gave you no security, sir? How did you let them move in before they gave you security? He's like, I have no proof that they didn't give me security. I also don't have proof that they gave it to me. Well, sir, sorry, that is not proof without a reasonable doubt. You lose on that one. They're like, okay. Then they're like, so what's this whole fuel tank oil? He starts going into a whole diatribe. He's like, this doesn't fucking make sense. He's like, Zach, where did this whole fuel tank oil thing come from? I said, Your Honor, we moved in January. It was freezing. We had to start a contract with an oil company at 18 when we don't have any credit. They looked at us and told us, hey, this is your first apartment. We're going to do the kind thing. We're going to do the nice thing. And we're going to give you a tank worth of oil. So that way you can start off on the right foot. You're not going to be cold. You're going to be warm. Everything's going to be okay. They're like, sir, that story makes more sense than yours. And you had months to make this up. So we won there. And then I explained, I was like, yeah. So then they proceeded to have in the lease documentation that they had to evaluate our apartment monthly whenever the fuck they felt like, and there was no consistency to it, and they were legally allowed to enter their premises with giving us 10-15 minutes notice. And he's like, wait, what? Wait, Zach, are you serious? I said, yeah, look, it's right here. And he brought the lease. He brought the fucking lease with the illegal fucking term in it. And he's like, so legally allowed to enter the premises, that's one. You're not allowed to do that. You have to give 24 hours notice. And in New York State, 24 hours notice and only for fixing the apartment is what the standard is. You cannot have that. You have to evaluate the premises. I am sorry, you do not pass go. You do not collect $200. This is not yours. You lose. But, Zach, 3 days.
Damn.
So we lost on the grounds of having 30 days to move, but we had 3 days to move and owed $0 for the apartment, which was nice because, looking at 60 days on top of $600 for a full fuel tank, on top of another $800 for the security, did not look interesting. So we moved in with one of her friend's dads at that point, who was a fucking creep and didn't pay for heat. And we got out of there as soon as we possibly could. But yeah, we got out of there in 48 hours. We left a couch that my daughter decided to put, Desitin, the fucking baby butt rash ointment, and a full entire bottle of baby lotion under the couch cushions at one point. And I didn't know this And at some point, you always fucking plop down on your couch, you sit down, you just sit down, you get
Mhm.
comfortable, you squish your ass into the couch cushion. The entire fucking couch cushion was gooed to the fucking bottom of the couch. I'm like, what the fuck is it? No, no, guess what? This is just fucking staying. I'm not moving half this shit. Just fuck all of it. I don't care. I'm just
Yeah.
moving beds and shit that I care about. And that's the only thing I brought. I brought like one U-Haul worth of shit and I left them with probably like one U-Haul worth of shit they had to haul away and owed them fucking zero. I was so fucking happy about it. I didn't fucking care anymore. I was done.